network. The network that was formed under the Global Support Program for capacity building for enhanced transparency. This regional meeting will be recorded, and I have already started the recording, and I would like to welcome everyone today. The year has been so long, and I'm happy that we are still here together to have this annual virtual network meeting for the network. Thank you so much, and I would like to welcome everyone. I hope everyone was able to receive the agenda, but I will now take you through the agenda for the day so that we can know how the meeting will run. So I hope you can see my presentation.
Yeah, we can see that, Sheila.
Thank you. So our agenda today runs like this. We have, of course, the main objective of this meeting is it's the annual meeting for Anglophone Africa Network, and we are mainly gathering here today to assess progress on how we have been able to implement together the work plan for 2024, and also to present and discuss the draft work plan with proposed activities for 2025. And then also we expect that jointly as the network members, we shall be able to agree on the activities that we can support during 2025. So our program today will run with our opening session and welcoming remarks. I'm happy to say that here together, I'm with colleagues from my team, that is Ms. Freya Milfold, who will be supporting us on delivering the opening and welcoming remarks, and I will be supporting in moderating the network meeting. Then after, we shall have presentation on key achievements and results of the CBIT Global Support Program in 2024, how the network what it has achieved in Anglophone Africa. I'll be delivering that presentation, and after the presentation, we shall have an opportunity for question and answer session. And then after that, we shall have a mentee that we shall have interventions from countries to get a feeling of how countries were able to receive our support in terms of how does the CBH support help your country to refine the national climate change reporting, what are the main lessons learned from support activities, and what are the areas of improvement for the support that CBIT Global Support Program should consider for 2025. I have put some names here. I hope they will be able to join the meeting. For some of them, they are actually like Tanzania. They had said they would join late, but I would like to ask countries that are here. I know we have supported and worked together and collaborated on supporting each of those countries together. So I will also expect that we hear from them. And then next we shall have a country transparency actions. I will be running a mentee that will be looking at specifically questions on what is your country status on submitting the first BTR, and then also just asking, do you think it is possible for your country to submit the BTR by end of 2024? And also the other question in the mentee is, how is your BTR development process linked to the NDC 3.0 development that is expected to be submitted next year around February? And then also, to what extent are you going to include adaptation communication in your NDC 3.0? And then what type of support would you need from us as you develop your NDC 3.0, which is part of our enhanced transparency? So I'll be running that mentee, and then after I think our colleagues will have joined, then it will be the best time for us to take a group photo. And then we shall also receive our second presentation on the annual work plan, the proposed activities for 2025, I'll be the one delivering that. And then after that, we can have a discussion, and also countries that I mentioned here, or any other country that is present, can give us their views on what extent views related to what extent do the proposed activities match the country's priorities, but also what are the other needs that we can support in the work plan of 2025. And then later I will run a Menti survey to get your feedback so that we can always improve, and then we shall be closing our meeting. So that is our program for today, and I hope it is fair, and we shall be able to comply with our program. So at this moment, as part of our program, I would like to invite my colleague, Freya. She will introduce herself. For some of you might have interacted with her, but she has joined our team of recent. So I would expect that she introduces herself very well before she can deliver the welcoming remarks. Thank you. Freya, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sheila, and thank you for running through the agenda there. And good morning, good afternoon to everyone here on the call today. Yeah, as Sheila said, I joined the team in Copenhagen fairly recently, so I may have worked with some of you, but yeah, not all of you yet. So it's really great to meet you today. And I hope you're all doing well and looking forward to the end of the year. I know it's been a very busy year for everyone, which Sheila's going to be sure to reiterate when she goes through kind of the summary of activities that have been undertaken in 2024. But I just personally wanted to thank you all for your hard work this year. And I look forward to working with you as we move into 2025 after we've all taken some well-deserved holiday to re-energize ourselves for the new year. So I'm excited to be with you all here today for this annual meeting for the Anglophone Africa Network. As Sheila said, so my name is Freya Milford and I'm a project officer working in transparency, and I'm working and supporting on the CBIT Global Support Program here in Copenhagen, which, as you know, is funded by Jeff, sponsored by UNEP, and then implemented through the UNEP Copenhagen Climate Centre. So, as you know, this project aims at supporting countries in their transparency efforts as it pertains to the Paris Agreement. So we work through various modalities, mainly through the regional and linguistic networks, and we've established 10 of these transparency networks, one of which, of course, is the Anglophone Africa Network. We started operations within your network around 2 years ago. And in that time, we've provided kind of extensive support across the countries based first on the results from the first capacity needs assessment, which was undertaken, and then obviously from the subsequent annual work plans. So we've really delivered on, activities such as in-person meetings and trainings, experience sharing webinars and activity, which have provided support to your countries, which again, Sheila is going to go into more detail on. So over the past year, and again, kind of since the launch of the project, we've all learned quite a lot, and we really look forward to using the time in the meeting today to hear from you all firsthand on your feedback and your impressions on how we can improve our activities and support with you all as we move into 2025, and how this can be used to kind of further enhance the work plan for the next year. So as you're all aware, this year has been really critical for all your countries as you've been developing your first biennial transparency reports, which, as you know, need to be submitted by the 31st of December this year. And, I think it's important to note that the countries within your network have really come from a diverse level of readiness in terms of delivering and submitting on these reports. And we know there's been, a real great amount of pressure on you all in developing the BTRs for the 31st of December. So I first kind of wanted to, maybe provide a bit of an early congratulations to any countries within the network who are planning to submit by the end of the year, but also to really reiterate that for countries who will be late in submitting or submitting sometime next year, that the CBIT-GSP program is going to continue, providing support across the areas of the BTR in the coming months and across 2025 as well. So obviously the importance of global transparency was again highlighted at the recent COP, which took place in Baku this year and finished a few weeks ago. And this need for kind of rigorous reporting on transparency at national level has only become more critical, as Sheila said, as over the next year countries are going to be preparing to submit their third national determined contribution. And obviously these NDCs, we really hope to have more ambitious commitments and build upon the previous NDC cycle. And this intersection between the BTRs and the NDCs is going to be a really important and key area that we hope to provide support to countries in the coming months. So as such, kind of at this critical time, we really hope to continue delivering on supporting countries over the next year. And as Sheila said, we've developed a new work plan for 2025, which has been informed by the second capacity needs assessment, which countries have just undertaken. And as we kind of go through this session today, we want to get your feedback and suggestions on other challenges that countries may be facing. So the overall objective of this annual meeting is to really take stock and to get your feedback on how the network activities have been going. So maybe what's gone well and maybe what hasn't gone so well, and to get your suggestions and your insight on how things can be improved going forward into 2025. I really wanted to take this opportunity again to thank all of you who have participated in the activities that have been undertaken in this network this year. So whether that's in online or in-person webinars and workshops, shared experiences between countries, and also to highlight those of you who've provided and asked valuable questions and participation during these activities. Active participation is one of the key aspects of this project, and it's really important, one, to kind of create a sense of community in what we're doing here, and also to increase kind of the help and capacity that we can provide to everyone. And I also wanted to just further note that all the kind of information and all the details on the activities that have been undertaken are all on the Climate Transparency platform, which I can provide a link to in the chat. I'm sure all of you kind of, or most of you are using the platform and know that it's there. But in case there's any of you on the call today who haven't been using the platform, I really wanted to highlight the importance of the platform and to encourage you to kind of use it and register as an active user, because there's a lot of really important and informative information on there. So I'm really looking forward to the meeting today, mostly to hearing your feedback and suggestions for the project going forward. And I look forward to my continued work with you all as we move into 2025. So I'll pass back now to Sheila. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priya, for delivering those warm welcoming remarks to the Anglophone Africa Network. And according to our program now, I will be just delivering the key achievements that we have achieved together as a network. I would like to just say that I'm just delivering on behalf of the network. Everyone has participated, and it has been a combined effort, collaborations, partnerships with countries, with agencies, with leveraging from already existing initiatives within countries. So I'm also grateful, and I'm grateful that we have done much together, and I hope that we shall continue to do this so that we can see Africa report in transparently to the commitments under the Paris Agreement. So we were able to achieve much based on our work plan for 2024. Kindly unmute mute your microphones, please. So we were able to achieve together. We held a global forum together. We were able to, I remember last year we had a work plan that we went through, and it was approved and work started. But in terms of the regional activities, we had several webinars on the introduction to BTR provisions, lessons learned from countries. Many countries were able to share their experience. There was a lot of learning from each other. And then we had adaptation planning and current adaptation reporting arrangements under the BTR, where we ran a webinar series on this. It was a very successful one, and we hope, of course, to even do better this year, next year. And then we had several training, which was in-person training hosted in Rwanda for the region, where different countries were represented. Yes, we had like 2 countries that were not represented in this regional meeting. Then we also had some activities that were planned that are not yet done or that have not been done, and we hope to take them to next year. For instance, we wanted to have a discussion or a sharing on institutional arrangements for transparency and lessons learned for specifically now taking it to different sectors. And then also that one was not done. We shall take it to next year's work plan. And then also we had a BTR clinic where we had a collaboration with African Union, and some of your countries were represented. And then introduction to the updated gender toolkit. This one has not been done. Our consultant did not deliver on time like we expected, so we hope that this will be delivered next year. And then we had 2 peer-to-peer learning experiences, which were very impactful to countries that participated. And I would encourage countries that are interested in peer-to-peer, and maybe if you have some resources somewhere, we can really help organize a very impactful peer-to-peer learning experiences. We developed a good methodology of peer-to-peer for enhanced transparency. So I think using what we have even seen that these countries benefited, it would be nice that you reach out and we organize one for you. So one here was hosted by Zimbabwe, another one was hosted by South Africa. There was a lot of learning. Tools were shared and exchanged among countries, and also strategies and approaches that countries use to enhance, for instance, GHG inventory functionalities was shared, and countries were able to implement. And then we also had national activities where we had hands-on experiences on training for GHG inventories for Zambia and Zimbabwe. And then also we had one for Sierra Leone. Then we had fast tracking of BTR development for the Gambia, and then hands-on experience also for GHG inventory with Namibia. Same with Tanzania, and we had also one with Kenya. And then also review of BTR chapter for Namibia. For some of you who are still working on your BTRs, we can do the capacity, we can do the review, peer review for you if you don't even have, like, for instance, the quality assurance in your country. We can act like that as a program. And then we also had several hands-on experiences for quality assurance, for hands-on with the Zimbabwe on GHG inventory. And then we had sharing from countries on how they have been able to implement their quality assurance. It was shared by Ghana. I will present that. But here, as you can see, Zambia has already requested, and we shall be doing their quality assurance for their BTR once they are ready. And then we also had several experience of developing BTR roadmap for countries that have not yet started, like South Sudan, Uganda. So we did a lot in that, Lesotho, Botswana. So we had several roadmaps developed for countries that are yet to start next year and also the other year. So we had in-country activities also with South Sudan, with Uganda. Uganda is going to submit their second bio-update report. So we had a training on their institutional arrangement and their MRV. And then we also had we were supposed to support mutual learning experience with Sierra Leone and Nigeria. These are some of the activities that we'll transfer to next year, but we shall have bilateral meetings with countries to see if they are still priorities, so we don't actually continue with something that is no longer priority for countries. And then we also conducted a training for fast tracking NDC improving NDC indicators with Mauritius, and also it was a combined training also for fast tracking the BTR development. So in terms of the regional network exchange activities, there was a lot of sharing through webinar and also through inter networks. We had an exchange with Eurasia. We also had an exchange with MENA on sharing best practices for that. For Eurasia, it was about unpacking implementation of adoption of tools and methodologies for adaptation. But also we had, like I had mentioned, Ghana sharing their experience on how they have been able to institutionalize their QA/QC, but also development of some of the section of their GH inventory for the BTR. It was a very good sharing. But we have activities that have not been done. We also thought South Africa would share with us on how they have been able to make their robust MRV functionality transparent system. So we hope that maybe next year they will be sharing this. And then also we had sharing by Uganda and Zimbabwe on how they have been able to approach development of their national climate change statistics report. And of course, they identified areas of support, and we hope that maybe they will have to get support to continue with developing such reports that contribute to enhanced transparency. So we also had small regional activities on report on activities carried out to support exchange on knowledge and experience. All countries participated. And then we were able to develop 5 leaflets from Rwanda, South Africa, Malawi. They had 2 leaflets, and Sierra Leone. These leaflets are already uploaded on our platform. They are leaflets that shows good practices on how countries have been enhanced transparency and also reporting. Some leaflets are really good that help on how countries can approach, for instance, development of the emission factors. That one was for Malawi, South Africa on their MRV, robust MRV system, and also Rwanda, and then Sierra Leone. They have been able to engage lower level local governments in their enhanced transparency reporting. Yeah, and then of course we were able to also develop a final report, annual report for the program, which we shall be sharing with you later in the year, before the year closes, together with this work plan that I will present later for you to give us your input. So that's what we have been able to achieve, and some elements that we have not been able to achieve. So this slide now takes you through a review of regional events and in-country support. So as you may be aware, we had our work plan divided into events, where we had under events, we had like regional events and then webinars that were concerning more than one country, but also we had in-country support where we were focusing on country priorities and needs. So comparing to 2023, to 2024, we have been able to see a big difference in terms of activities, in-country activities, and also in-person activities. So you can see in 2024, we were able to have more activities, like around 24 in-country activities, compared to 2023, where we had only 6. And then when it comes to events, we managed to hold to 11 events compared to 8 events which were held in 2023. So we have really improved, and this achievement is not for one person. All of us participated, collaborations, partnerships, and we are so grateful. So specifically, when it comes to review of regional events, we had distribution of activities. Online, we had like around 64%, and in person 36%. And these activities were composed of annual platforms, forums. Then we had sessions, we have webinar series, we had in-person trainings that most of you participated in. And then when we compare this kind of participation in terms of gender, we see female participation with 55%, and in the in-country activities, but also we see that male participation was more in 2023 than 2024. Maybe I don't know what happened, but maybe we have more now ladies in terms of the regional events, but we shall see the trends change when it comes to in-person meetings. But we are really grateful that there's a balance on participation in terms of gender. This is just a pictorial run through of where you participated online, peer learning, regional meetings. Thank you so much for participating. Then when it comes to satisfaction, as you may be aware, we were running satisfaction surveys every time we would hold a meeting. And we see that most of you were satisfied by 55%, but we had even those who said that they were very satisfied in terms of the regional events at 38%. And this is for us a very big improvement compared to the 2023 satisfaction survey, where we had only 52%. This is now focusing on in-country support for different countries, which was composed of capacity buildings on different GHG inventory elements and sectors, and then also trainings for enhanced transparency in terms of developing the BTR and the BUR documents, and also developing the roadmaps, reviewing documents, and also conducting stock taking. Both of these were done both in-country and online support. And so, as you can see, in terms of in-country presence, we had 76%. Online, we were able to support by 24%. And all this was done because countries really supported so much in terms of resources, leveraging on the already existing resources, but also in partnership with agencies like UNDP, PATPA, but also like FAO. So we are so grateful that you were able to really come through and mobilize those resources to enable these activities to take place. And then when it comes to gender distribution, you see here in the in-country activities, we have more male attend than female. Yes, we have more male attend than female in the in-country activities, maybe based on the nature of some of the technical elements of this work, where we find that we have more male in the science, but we have also had improvement based on the 2023 to 2024. We improved in terms of numbers. We have around 145 female and 269 male in the in-country participation. And thank you so much for these numbers, and we hope that maybe in future we shall have more female involved in our in-country trainings. So these are some of the in-country trainings where we're able to participate. I see Zambia, I see Gambia, I see Swatini, Liberia. I see even some of the online support that took place for Tanzania, for Malawi, the pre-webinars. We also had support for Kenya. There were so many countries. I think most of the countries, just a few that we are not able to get this support, but we hope that in the next year we shall be able to cover most of the countries. Then in terms of the satisfactory survey for the in-country support, we have 56% as satisfied compared to the 49 that we received last year. And we have 41 who said that they were very satisfied. And I think this is a good gesture, and we are so grateful that you are satisfied with this. So, as you may be aware, we also ran a survey which we shared with all of you on your feedback on how we are performing. So we're able to also synthesize this information on the different thematic focus areas that you attended. And we see that most participants attended GHG inventory trainings, climate transparency trainings in general, but also NDC tracking. Yes, those were the most attended. And using also the output from that survey, we saw that ways in which trainings strengthened MRV activities. We realized that there was a good distribution in terms of enhancing understanding of the MRV for transparency improving accuracy of data reporting, increasing efficiency in data collection and analysis, also strengthening knowledge sharing and collaboration with our network members, but most importantly, enhancing clarity on MRV for enhanced transparency. And for us, we think that this was very good because at least different people are benefited differently. And it brings us to this slide whereby some of the people who answered the survey told us that that our work also contributed to their professional growth and development, and we got that over 77%, which was very good. So in the survey, we also received information that there was application of knowledge. That was 88% agreed that they applied this knowledge in different areas, but most of the areas was biannual transparency report, nationally determined contribution, NDC, and then in developing of the national inventory document, and also in the biannual update report. For us, this feedback is very encouraging that our support was really useful in enhanced transparency reporting. Then there's also, there was a question about how you have utilized our transparency platform. We are happy to see that at least 58% are able to use our platform, because if you do not use it, it becomes actually very useless for us to have it and also to upload all the information that we do. So we are happy that at least there's an improvement in using the climate transparency platform compared to last year. I wanted to say that actually the assessment also helped us to identify some of the challenges. So some of the challenges were categorized under issues to do with the developing of the National Inventory Report documents, MPG's provisions, and also NDC tracking. For instance, some had challenges in filling out the CRT tables, the SCTF tables, and then also difficulties in providing necessary information towards NDC tracking. We take note of all this, and we hope to design trainings that can enhance capacity in that. But also we captured that there were challenges in reporting under adaptation, with difficulties in establishing mechanisms for tracking and reporting on adaptation, including the deviations from sustainable development and disaster risk reductions. Then there were also interpretation of the application of the MPG mandatory provisions. It was not easy for the adaptation chapter. So we hope to design trainings that will be feeding in that. So also the challenges that were highlighted include lack of unified domestic mechanism to compile necessary data, lack of data on finance, technology and development and transfer, limited coordination among agencies responsible for receiving and managing support within the countries. And there were also identified risks of double counting because of the unconnected data systems in countries. So, but we look at that as an opportunity for us for 2025 in terms of designing relevant trainings on the ETF tools, guiding implementing QA/QC plans and performing uncertainty assessment, training programs to build expertise in applying MPG provisions, capacity building for applying the IPC software guidelines, and performing helping countries to understand how calculations of the GHG emissions can be done, and then also supporting countries to estimate their emissions for specific sectors, but also providing practical tools and also data correction tools that can help countries to report better. So we learned several lessons that we need to increase the frequency and duration of trainings. We need to enhance capacity in practical and sector-specific content. We need to strengthen capacity building and knowledge sharing. We need to enhance transparency and stakeholder engagement, and we need to ensure adequate participation and support. And of course, we were able, like I mentioned, to come up with different knowledge products. But apart from knowledge products, all our materials that we have been training on are already uploaded on the platform. And you can go to the knowledge products portal and you download some of these reports so that you can see how some of the activities were done. So these are some of the links for the platform, and it's a pictorial of so many things that have happened over the year. I would like to thank you for your attention, and I would like to also bring to your attention that the team has grown and we have so many people behind all this work. It's not only me and Priya who are here, but we have a bigger team that is supporting all this work, and also other network where we have interactions, sometimes in terms of cross-networking that we have been doing. So I would like to thank you so much for listening. Yes, hello. So this is an opportunity for you now to ask questions about the achievements we have had. And also you can put in the chat if you have any questions in the chat. Yeah, thank you so much. I can see someone who is saying it was busy. Yes, it was a very critical time for us and it has been a busy year. I hope maybe we shall also be able to be busy since we have NDC 3.0 to submit in the early part of the year. So thank you so much for that. So if we don't have any questions, I will request countries that I had identified, like Liberia, Seychelles, to give us their insights on what they think about some of these elements, so that we can hear from them. I had provided also some guided questions on how does this support help your country. Maybe other countries will also learn from you. What are the main lessons learned from the capacity that you received, and what do you feel as the areas that we need to improve? The floor is yours for those who are here. Yeah, thank you. Arthur, yes, kindly unmute and go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Sheila, and thanks to the CBIT Global Support Team for all of the support that has been given to countries, particularly least developed countries like Liberia, who are part of this process in terms of ensuring that we can fulfill our reporting obligations. So I would just like to kick off based on the guiding questions that were shared with us. The first guiding question basically looks at how the CBIT global support has helped us as a country in terms of refining our national climate change reporting. In the context of Liberia, the CBIT-GSP has played a very significant role in helping to refine climate change reporting. And under this support, it has helped us to a large extent to be able to define roles and responsibilities, especially across different government line ministries and agencies, sectors that particularly have a very pivotal role to play when it comes to reporting obligations as a country. So the support by the CBIT-GSP has helped to a large extent in terms of institutional arrangements that are geared towards well-defining roles and responsibilities across different sectors within Liberia. We were also particularly impressed, and to a large extent, this gave us as a country leverage on several fronts, particularly targeted training sessions and webinars that Liberian technical experts were able to participate in, both online and the physical or face-to-face meetings that were held. One of those trainings that was held that became outstanding to give us a very clear understanding as a country in terms of how do we proceed of our reporting obligations, especially now that we are trying as much as possible to submit our biannual transparency report and third national communications. The training in Kigali, Rwanda was of great support in terms of giving the technical experts a clear picture and guidance as to how they proceed, particularly on issues such as greenhouse gas inventories and the NDC and mitigation tracking, particularly. It is clear that Liberia has improved the quality and comparability of its climate change reports. And thanks to the tools and guidance that were also provided along the line during the training, which are consistent with IPCC methodologies and the enhanced transparency framework under the Paris Agreement. In terms of some of the lessons learned, as a country, the issues around strong institutional frameworks are particularly areas where we would like to clearly state here as key lessons learned along the line, as well as efforts around capacity building, the issues of ensuring that we have diverse stakeholders who, to a large extent, can have ownership of the process of climate change reporting. Because in all of this, accountability and reporting mechanisms are key and vital. Regular trainings were also outstanding, both online and face-to-face, and these trainings provide an essential opportunity to sustain the momentum and address the emerging technical challenges that may occur, especially as countries move towards submitting their BTRs and national communications. In terms of areas of improvement for the CBIT-GSP support activities, there are a couple of areas that Liberia thinks direly that we must be able to place significant premium. There is room for improvement in trying to see how best we can customize the training, both online and face-to-face training and tools, to address the specific needs of different stakeholders in Liberia, particularly because we must be able to identify different training, customized training tools that takes into account different stakeholders in Liberia. And developing these training tools will enable a wide variety of stakeholders to be involved in the process. Additionally, developing robust frameworks with clear indicators for better tracking and progress are areas through which the country needs, we will need improvement as a country in terms of the CBIT-GSP support, and ultimately securing more sustainable financing and building more partnerships to scale up activities for long-term impact is something that is of essence and importance to us. And what is also important, particularly as we move towards the update of our nationally determined contributions, how do we align CBIT activities with the NDC's targets, policy measures, and development goals so that we can enhance coherence and have national ownership to a large extent. So far, Liberia has made efforts about 85% towards the submission of this biannual transparency report and third national communications. Most of the zero drafts of the chapters in the BTR and NC3 have now been concluded, pending review. So we've made significant efforts as a country to ensure that we can be able to meet up with the end of December target. Just two additional points on the how the BTR development process can be linked to the update of the Nationally Determined Contributions 3.0 development. For Liberia, the development of the BTR is intrinsically linked to the NDCs because under the Paris Agreement, because the NDCs represent to a large extent the country's commitment for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And at the same time, adapting to climate change, while the BTR serves as the mechanism for reporting progress on these commitments that are enshrined within the nationally determined contributions. So the BTR development process, its linkage to the NDC 3.0 development in Liberia has shared objectives of transparency, accountability, stakeholder engagement. It also has a significant and vital component related to data which is driven by data, which also takes into account decision making, the efforts around capacity building, the issues around adhering to international standards, the issues about getting feedback mechanisms for improvement, and ultimately reporting on adaptation measures and the integration into broader policy frameworks. So this is our outlook in terms of how Liberia's BTR and third national communications development process can be linked to the update process of our nationally determined contributions 3.0. And lastly, to what extent are we as a country going to include adaptation to communication in the NDC 3.0? And what kind of support do we think that is quite vital for the NDC 3.0 from the CBIT-GSP? Well, first and foremost, in 2021, Liberia was fortunate to have finalized its first adaptation to communication. It was just after the submission of our national adaptation plans that we got support in developing our first adaptation communication. So this integration is quite vital and important to us as a country, because we feel strongly that the integration of our first adaptation communications to the NDC's 3.0 would help in enhancing resilience against climate change impacts, while also ensuring that we align with the international commitments that the country is obliged to fulfill as enshrined in the BTR and the national communications. So support from the CBIT-GSP is essential, particularly to first and foremost strengthen capacity building at the national level for technical experts, also the continuous provision of technical assistance to Liberia, leveraging on financial resources, optimizing efforts towards increased knowledge sharing is something that we see as vital, and also continuous stakeholder engagement mechanisms which are necessary for the successful implementation of the updated version of our nationally determined contributions. So basically, with all of these said, this is the perspective of Liberia, judging from the kind of support that the CBIT-GSP has given us, and how has that helped refine the country's reporting obligations. What are some of the lessons we've learned, the status of our BTR and national communication submission, and where we are in terms of percentages with that development, and how do we intend to link the BTR to the NDC 3.0, and as well as to what extent are we going to include adaptation communications in our nationally determined contributions. With that said, and in the interest of time, I will want to stop thus far with these submissions. And we also want to thank the CBIT-GSP for their support over the years to Liberia. As a country, we will remain fully committed to working with the CBIT-GSP including other countries, to see how best we can improve, especially countries with best lessons learned. How can we be able to share our lessons over time so that with the sharing of lessons, we are able to overcome some of the challenges that we've had over time. Thank you so much for your listening role.
Yeah, thank you so much for that detailed, well, comprehensive sharing on how your perspective. I feel it was not just Liberia's perspective, it was a very good representation of so many other African countries on how they would approach, especially the linkage of the development of the NDC 3.0 with our enhanced transparency reporting that is already ongoing. And we are so grateful that you are able to internalize like that. So I am not very sure if we have our other colleague from Seychelles here to give us their perspective. That would be nice to also get that perspective before we can leave this session. And if he's not here, I think it was really.
I think I see him on the call. Is it Andrew?
Yes, yes. Andrew, are you ready for your perspective? But if he's not ready, oh, but the mic is open, I think.
Let's have a look. I've just.
On my side, you are able to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe as we wait for him, maybe he will give his perspective when he's ready. I can run the Menti. Can see a message in the chat. Okay. Thank you. So I can run the Menti. Maybe as we wait, he will give his perspective along the way on the few questions that we have to get the views of countries. The Menti instructions, you can scan the code, but also the code is 86707880. So would want to get your perspective on the few questions that we have so that you can really appreciate what direction we can take our work plan for 2025 if we get as much views as possible, especially prioritizing areas for the regional activities. It's very important for us to really get your perspective on that's why we have designed these questions. So you can go to www.menti.com and enter this code 86707880, or you can scan the QR code so that you can join and be able to answer. I can see one person has already joined. Yeah, so the question is, what is your country status for BTR process? How are you progressing? I am aware that at least under Anglophone countries, we have not had any country submit, but I'm aware that the processes are in the 80%, most of them. The work is in progress. I'm happy to know that even some members here have their countries work in progress. Yes, I can see Joke, your hand is up. Kindly go ahead.
Sheila, maybe you could put the code into the chat and the link.
All right, let me do that. But I was seeing Joki's hand. Okay, let's see. So the link is in the chat. Yes, so Andrew, let's finish the Menti, then you will talk after the Menti. Thank you for that notification. Yeah. Kindly use the link in the chat. Now, what is the second, the first question, what is your country status? The second question is, will your country be able to submit the BTR by end of 2024? Yes, we are getting someone who is saying very likely. Yeah, thank you for giving us that hope, that feedback. So how is your BTR development process linked to NDC 3.0? Would want to understand if you have already started thinking about it, because we are aware that the NDC 3.0 will be submitted around February. It's just also around 2 months ahead. So there's a lot of work ahead of us. So someone is saying that through shared objectives, transparency, accountability, shared stakeholder engagement, data-driven decision-making, adherence to international standards, feedback mechanism. Then someone is saying the BTR development process includes GHG projections, which are required for NDC. So there is already a link, and we are happy to see that countries are linking these processes, not looking at them in isolation, because as you saw in my presentation, most of the challenges that were identified for NDC tracking chapter, it was because the NDC was not well structured to identify key indicators for tracking. So if we start thinking about the linkage now, it helps future reporting. That's why we are asking these questions. So clear outcome of JG will be for tracking NDC. Thank you for that feedback. And then, to what extent are you going to include adaptation communication? We have got two responses saying that they are not very sure at the moment, but maybe it's a point to think about so that you can well position, so that we don't leave the adaptation communication behind. And yet, most of African countries, we are aware that adaptation is our priority. So that's why some of this question is being asked here. So what type of support would you need from us? So including indicators and targets, funding. We give capacity support. We might not have funds, but then we might have, maybe if we have partnerships that are already existing in your countries, we can leverage on that, but we do not really give hard cash in terms of funding. But we leverage from the existing initiatives to give our support. Thank you so much. We are talking about strengthening capacity building, technical assistance, financial resources, knowledge sharing, and stakeholder engagement mechanism, training, and capacity building. And I hope I will be engaging countries to have bilateral understanding on exactly what type of capacity, what nature of capacity, so that our training can be more focused. Yeah, so thank you so much for those inputs in this Menti. I would now maybe request Andrew to give his view, because I think he's ready. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, hi. I think I will try to be brief. I had a little presentation, but I will kind of like not show it. So I will just start at the beginning. You know, we were introduced to GSP CBIT back in July, Q2 last year. And we were invited to the training in South Africa. sorry, and then we started kind of developing a relationship with the program where we participated in mostly the webinars, the online exchanges, and around November last year, we requested for the training for the mitigation actions, which was delivered in country. We got training on GASMO, which was one of the tools that could be used to track your mitigation actions in your NDCs. And also because we submitted our BUR early this year, like in January, BUR early this year, we benefited a lot through the online webinars that was done, especially because of the experiences of other countries that were also participating in the process. So we kind of like learned a lot. And that's basically, I think, where we benefited most. And eventually we moved to the next phase, which was when we were conducting the stock take for the BTR, which happened in Q2 this year, where we really formed a strong bond with GSP CBIT to kind of develop the template for the stock take exercise, as you know, is the required for launching of the BTR process. Because in the stock take where you identify the activities that was to be done, that it needs to be done to complete your BTR, but also you kind of give an indication of budget. So we work very closely with Sheila and team on that one, where we developed our work plan, which is called the Project Nutrition Plan, and submitted that probably around June this year. And eventually that was used to kickstart the BTR process, and that happened quite late for us, actually. We only started the BTR process in September. The contracts for the BTRs were signed in September this year. And again, we relied on the CBIT-GSP program to help us with the chapter 2 of the BTR, which is to do with the NDC tracking, especially when it comes to the identification of the indicators, or more like the development of the indicators, because that was kind of like the first step of really the exercise was to develop indicators, and then once you have the indicators, then it follow up through like filling the CTF table. So we work closely with GSP CBIT on that one, and that's been very useful for us because, you know, I think for as with most Sheila said in the opening statement is most of the countries, it was a struggle to understand this process of BTR because we started quite late and there was a lot of information that was needed to be understood before we can actually really start the development of the BTRs. And for us, it was kind of a challenge because, you know, we had to learn about the MPGs, we had to learn about the Enhanced Transparency Framework, we had to learn about the ETF tools, we had to learn about the templates, the tables, like to be used to be able to like allow us to like send that information into the UNFCCC. So for us, the learning process was quite steep because it started in September and we are now almost mid-December, and we hope that we are still on track to submit by the end of the year. So that is basically where we are with how we benefit from the program. When it comes to the lesson learned, I think this was very valuable with the exchanges, mostly from the webinars that we attended, and we're learning from the experiences of the other countries. And my last point was to like what improvements for the support activities. I think the format where it comes to webinars and learning exchanges with other countries, I think has been quite useful. So for me, you know, I have nothing further to add on that one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your insights. I think it is really very loud and clear adding to what Andrew, to what Arthur was saying. It is just that we have to continue building capacity on enhanced transparency elements, but also linking now NDC 3.0. I can see Samuel's hand up. Kindly unmute yourself and speak. Yes, Samuel. Yeah. Yes, Mr.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, colleagues. I think, again, I just want to echo maybe some of the sentiments from our colleagues from Seychelles and also from Liberia on the support that we've gotten from this program. I think it has been quite useful to most of it. And I think you have actually mentioned, okay, your neighbor here in Kenya. I think we have really benefited. I just want to appreciate that we started, of course, our program, our process for the reporting, and therefore I would just want to first of all appreciate the support we got as we started. I think we were able to connect to us to one of the experts who was able to sit with the GSG team to be able to take them through the process. So you were able to bring Dr. Sekai, who was able to be with us almost for a whole 1 week, and we are able to go through the process. And I think we really appreciated that in-person support, that technical support that we got from your end in April this year. Again, I also know we also have also benefited a lot when we were involved in the training in South Africa and also Kigali, and also the other training that was in Japan. And therefore I would say that we really appreciate the support that we are getting as a country for this process. It is not easy, as maybe my other colleagues will agree, even bringing that institutional arrangement where you need to bring in people to bring in data and also to work on the data and even to start doing the reporting. But it's good that with your support, we were able to have that motivation, because I think from that gatherings and the various opportunities that we had for the capacity building, we had got now the motivation to ensure that we can be able to sit and concentrate on the reporting. And I think, yeah, that's what we have benefited from your side. And therefore, maybe just to mention, of course, the BTR, we are in progress. But I would say that, again, it is not easy. As some of my colleagues, those who have talked before, are saying we still have, and also from your reporting, that we still have some gaps, especially for of course, some GSG. I think, okay, for GSG, at least I would say that as a country, we have really progressed quite well. Because I think with this year, we had another training through the GSGMI that we are able to ensure that we have built some capacity or some good number of experts. Although we still need to continue keeping on training so that at least we can retain and we can have at least a good number of people, expertise, who can be able to help us. So it is something that I think the way you have highlighted, that is something even on the GSG, we need to keep on training, having the training so that at least we can refine, and especially there are key areas, especially for the QC, there are also uncertainties and the rest that really we need to keep on building the capacities of our experts. NDC tracking, I think, as a chapter again, I think we are trying to engage with it, but if you look at, of course, what is required there, it might not be a lot, but of course it needs a lot of what I would say some capacity building again. So it is an area that I would say that, as you had highlighted, as a country, we have also seen that is an area that we need to continue supporting in terms of capacity building, and also, of course, the reporting common table, the tabular format, and also the reporting tables. It is an area that we still feel that we have not actually been able to acquire the capacities that we can comfortably say that we can be able to report adequately. So we hope we will be able to continue with the same kind of capacity building in 2025, so that maybe probably in the next cycle of reporting will be better off. But I think there were some issues where we are saying, are we able to? I think I was not able to join the Menti because of the connection. But of course, I am sure most of the countries, developing countries, are trying, and as a country, we are also trying to ensure that we can report by the deadline of 31st December. So we hope we'll be there, and we hope we'll continue this engagement with this program. So I think that is what I have to say for now. Thank you very much. Back to you, Sheila.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think you are really adding a voice, and it is very, very good. And we hope to strengthen this. The good thing, I will be presenting the proposed activities for the work plan. I'll also share with you the work plan, and then I'll expect to get feedback from you on where you feel that I should engage you more. And then we shall have bilateral meetings, so where we can be able to concretize the priorities for each, especially for in-country meetings. So that was very, very good that we have learned that there was big contribution. And it is this moment where we request now all of us to switch on our cameras so that we are able to take a photo. Thank you. I can just see a few people. I don't know if it's my camera.
I think we can get a few more cameras on.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing many people. Kindly switch on your cameras.
We need as many lovely smiles for the platform as possible.
Yes. They should give us the Christmas smile.
Yeah, it's like it's almost end of the year. We're almost there. We can we can smile bigger now.
But from my side, I'm only seeing only 3 of us. I don't know if it's my side. How many are you seeing?
Oh, I'm seeing a few more than that. I'll take the screenshot then.
Okay, then kindly
If you just give me 1 second, sorry.
I am not able to see.
Okay. Yeah, I got the screenshot there, Sheila.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I think maybe it was my screen. Yeah. So I think we shall go with that. So we can go to the next session. So I will be presenting the annual work plan unless we have any question. Yeah, so if we don't have any questions, I can just present my the work plan, the proposed activities for the work plan. So I'll be sharing my screen shortly. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it, Sheila.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to also give a brief background of how this work plan has been generated. So we were able to generate this work plan, as you may be aware. The CBIT-GSP project is a project funded by GEF, implemented by UNFCCC. So we have a work plan, a broader work plan with priority activities and objectives that we use. But based on that, then the priorities include compilation and submission of the first BTR, and also mandatory parts of the BTR, which include JG inventory, tracking of NDC, and also adaptation reporting. And I think you agree with me that we have been able to really provide support towards that. But also based on the feedback survey that we shared with all of you, we were able to get some direction on what capacities are required, especially priorities for countries. So we kind of also use that information to inform the work plan. But also we also shared with focal points, a second assessment report like the first one we shared. We just changed a bit of the questions, but it was the same. to be able to now see if we are still on track on the activities that we asked about and we implemented, and we also use that feedback to inform the work plan. But also I have had some discussions with some countries which already had submitted their needs that we are not able to meet this year, which we shall now shift to next year. So but I hope to have more discussions with countries so that we can provide more prioritized kind of capacity for specific in-country needs. And just to let you know that our focus for 2025, we want to really focus on providing capacity for specific countries. So if after this meeting, you can reach out to me to schedule a bilateral meeting if you feel that this work plan is not representing your priority needs. So in terms of activities, we shall be having a regional transparency meeting. Okay, this is our regional meeting, but we shall, then we shall have the work plan approved. And then, as you may be aware, we shall be having our global forum for CBIT. This global forum, usually we write to the focal point for the CBIT-GSP to attend, or if they are not available, we would request that if we write to you and you are not available, kindly nominate someone to attend on your behalf. It will take place in April. It will also be in Brazil, and we shall start the process very soon. We shall let you know. And then we also have planned regional and global activities in terms of BTR provisions and lessons learned from the network in terms of submitting their first biannual report by BTRs, but also looking at those countries that have not yet submitted, those that applied their flexibility provisions of CD and LDC. We shall still be having some of those webinars to learn together. Then we shall also have introduction to adaptation planning, but specifically focusing on monitoring and evaluation for adaptation so that we can be able to also manage the scope of what indicators we can track for adaptation for BTR requirements. And then we shall have another hands-on training with on GHG inventory parts, but this also the topic will further be shaped by other bilateral and multilateral meetings. So I hope that, and also it will be shaped by the partnership. We hope to partner with African Union Commission on this, and then it will shape the specific topic that we shall be training on. And then we have another activity on institutional arrangements, which will be a webinar for transparency. I know institutional arrangements is one of the core or of the project of the activities within the countries, and yet sometimes it's kind of thought that it will fall in place. But we hope to have a webinar where we are learning from countries that have been able to shape their rigorous institutional, functional, operational institutional arrangements to shape to help learn from them how other countries can do it. And then we also hope to have another regional meeting where we shall be collaborating on unpacking some of the BTR challenges, which stages are more challenging, so that we can have like a clinic to unblock those bottlenecks in enhanced transparency for BTR. And also this one, we are working with collaboration with different agencies, UNDP, COMESA, and Conservation International. So we hope that also that one will take place. Then we shall also be presenting our updated gender toolkit next year. Yes, the timing might change, but I hope it will be early next year. Yeah, so other regional and global activities include BTR development processes linked to NDC 3.0 development. So we hope to have series of webinars to really inform targeted smart indicators, coming up with improving the targets So we hope that it will be a good learning and timely for our NDC 3.0. Then also, setting smart indicators. So we shall have series of webinars on that. Then in terms of national activities, we have had some discussions with Malawi for hands-on training. This was supposed to be for this year, but it did not take place. So we hope to have this, but also they also want another training. So we shall have another discussion to prioritize which type of training we can provide to the country. Then also Liberia, like he had mentioned, more training on IPC software specifically for LULUCF. Then Uganda would like to start their BTR process, so we shall be starting training on fast tracking, where we can start from and what elements, the scope of their BTR. We shall be providing that training. Then hands-on training on GH inventory, including IPC software. This was supposed to take place also sometime this year, but we have also put it this year for South Sudan. So some of these activities I have put here, countries had proposed them as requests. For instance, here we have had a request from Botswana and Lesotho about BTR development, and we hope when they are ready, maybe early next year, we shall have these hands-on trainings. And then also the Gambia would want to really enhance their institutional arrangements, build a robust enhanced system for MRV for their reporting. I hope we shall be able to provide this kind of support, and also hands-on training for institutional arrangements still for Uganda, and then also hands-on training on fast tracking BTR for South Sudan. And then Zambia had also talked about this training, which did not take place, but we provided online input. I hope they will now have a bilateral meeting with us, maybe to change the priority of that training, but they told me to leave it on so they can make a decision. Then also, I see Liberia coming twice. Maybe this is an error, but also we shall be providing hands-on trainings for countries that are interested in other enhanced transparency. So kindly reach out to me after this meeting so that we can agree on which priority activities for your country. But we also have regional network exchange. We hope to have mutual learning. We had only 2 mutual learnings, but we are planning to have a mutual learning on adaptation, where we can actually develop adaptation chapter with selected countries. So if your country is interested in this mutual learning, kindly reach out to me. And then also, we also hope to share best experiences, including adaptation for NDC tracking, but then also we shall have a sharing of best experiences and peer learning on NDC tracking and JG inventory for activities. Please reach out to me if you want to be part of these regional activities. And then our other activity will be on also sharing on how we have been able to manage submitting our first BTR for those countries that will have submitted. So we hope to develop more knowledge products. Kindly utilize the knowledge products that we are developing. I upload all those products on the platform, and I look forward that you utilize them so that they are useful. And of course, we shall also be able to develop an end of year report for next year. So that is it for the work plan for today. Thank you. So I hope I'm still connected. Yeah, if so, I would want to discussions and on the work plan that has been presented. And of course, like I mentioned, I will share with you the work plan to wait for the input from you. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Lamin Ba, kindly unmute yourself and speak.
Good afternoon from the Gambia. Thank you, Sheila and colleagues, for this good presentation. Yeah, so I just wanted to comment on the annual work plan, but then I think I have to reserve my comments for now. Once you share the work plan, and then we can actually incorporate some of the comments in it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And okay, I will also wait to hear from anyone with a comment about the work plan. But if we don't have anyone on our program, we thought that we would have someone to kind of look into the work plan and give us their insights. And I provided guiding questions. And the good thing, I can see Lamin is here. I had put the Gambia. To what extent do you think the proposed activities match your country priorities? Are there other needs that have not been covered in the work plan? So kindly, Mr. Lamin, you can go ahead and give your insights. We had thought that you would give your insight on that. Then we had also mentioned Sierra Leone. I saw some Mr. Tamba here. We can also hear from them if Mr. Tamba or Madam Dr. Lovetta is here with us. They can also give us their insights. Thank you.
Yeah, Sheila.
Yes.
Good
please.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Yes.
Tamba.
So as you rightly said, we are deeply interested in the work program and moving the partnership with GSP. So we are awaiting the work plan. As you rightly said, you will share. And so we'll make our inputs and communicate back to you. But we'll also try to have a detailed bilateral engagement with you, Sheila, going forward. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tamba, for that. Maybe now we can hear from Mr. Lamin.
Yes, Sheila. So I will like to say we will still want some activities to be included for the Gambia. For example, the training on the IPCC tools, and yeah, so and also the loss and damage issue of tracking. So, but however, I will still maintain my position here. Once we receive the plan, actually, we will include most of our comments in the work plan, details information that we will actually want to see in the work plans. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. I see a hand from Dr. Adama. Kindly unmute yourself and speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sila, thank you for that presentation. I was working for the Ministry of Petroleum and Energy, and I was the climate change focal point. So I've been working closely with the ministry, and we've been working on the inventory for the energy sector. Still now I'm participating in that. I've just taken a secondment and joined the University of the Gambia. Like my two colleagues have said, I concur with them. I think we can wait for the work plan. It's a very good work plan, but then Gambia needs to align whatever it's their priorities needs to be aligned with our NDC and also our national development plan. So sharing the work plan will help us. We look at these two documents and see what we need to include in that work plan. I just wanted to add my voice to the two who have already spoken. Thank you very much. And then again, this work plan, I don't know, since I'm no longer with the ministry, I'm with the university. Is it possible to share with us? I mean, if more Lamin, you are here hearing me. I'm still working with the Ministry of Energy on this GHG inventory. So it will be good that even though I'm not with the ministry full time, but then I can participate in this process. maybe invite me when you are doing the meeting so that I can, I mean, my input will be very valuable, I guess, because I've been working with them for a number of years. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for that guidance. And I think I will remind Minister Lamin to invite you when we are doing our bilateral meeting. Thank you. I see a message from the chat. I can read that. It's about, hi Sheila, my question is on the work plan is, what are the plans if engaging experts from different countries in the capacity building process for other fellow countries as a way of enhancing gained knowledge? So I mentioned something to do with peer learning and mutual learning. So that is part of the plan. So our approach for peer learning is actually experts from different countries are sharing their experience and knowledge with other countries. So we don't usually have a technical expert in those learnings, mutual learning and peer learnings. So we hope to organize more of those. And I think I wish you had put your country so that I can reach out to you if I get an opportunity for peer learning so that we can actually work on that together. As you can see, this kind of program, we really rely much more on partnerships and collaborations to achieve together, and bringing this kind of point is very important. So kindly put your country down so I can reach out to you when we are structuring our peer learning and mutual learning experiences. Yeah, thank you. I've noted that you are from Kenya. Then, hi, Sheila, my question is on the work plan is on what are the plans of engage, okay, as South to South exchange? Yes, so we shall be having those. So Liberia looks forward to receiving the draft work plan. Fine, I will share. Yeah, thank you. So those are some of the comments from the chat, and I hope that we are going to have a different approach. In fact, from our assessment, we realize that it's more impactful through peer-to-peer learning and also mutual learning. So we hope to design those trainings together. And of course, like mutual learning would require more commitment from the participants. So now that it is coming from you, I feel that there's already commitment for that kind of learning. They can either be in person or also virtual. So whatever way, the commitment is required. So thank you so much. Any other comments? I would like to hear from you. Yes, Lamin, kindly speak.
Yeah, just a question. When should we expect to receive the draft work plan?
Yes, so I will send the work plan after the meeting, and maybe I should also take note that I will be expecting the work plan back by Friday, by tomorrow, because you remember this is a regional work plan. We don't expect you to put a lot of individual activities. I'm sharing for purposes of getting your input in terms of, especially if I have missed out your country, especially on a priority, but also as a way of having an engagement with you bilaterally to shape the priority for the country. Yes, Roveta.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sheila. Sorry, I joined a few minutes ago, so I'm completely lost. I had an emergency job that I was assigned to this morning, so that's why Mr. Nyaka is joining. I'm sure he must have given his contribution. But I just want to say, to express thanks on behalf of Sierra Leone to the CBIT-GSP for all the work we did for 2024. And we hope to have exceptional working relationship while developing the BTR. I'm sure Mr. Nyaka must have highlighted our needs, or maybe we'll wait for the work plan where we see and then incorporate what is being left behind based on what we have. But then thank you so very much for everything. And we look forward to having a work plan as soon as we can so that we can share our inputs. But you guys have done an excellent job this year, and we are grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that contribution. You have not missed so much. This meeting is recorded, and I hope you will be able to get the recording. And I usually post the recordings on the platform. So if there's even any other like webinar or online meeting that you missed, they are always have a link on our platform, so you can always reach out. Yeah, and thank you so much for endeavoring to join even when you had other commitments. We appreciate that so much. So if we don't have any other comments or questions, I would request that I share the Menti. Lovette, I still see your hand up. Do you still want to say something? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so I can share the Menti if we don't have any other contribution, but before maybe I share the Menti, I would like to really appreciate, we have had several partnerships to achieve this. I think I have been mentioning, we have Patpa here with us. Rebecca is here with us. She can also unmute and say hello to colleagues because she has been working with us. And she might not partner with us on a regional meeting next year, but I know we shall partner somewhere. So maybe, Rebecca, you can say something to colleagues, because I know they will be asking about you in our regional meetings.
Yeah, sure. Hi, thanks. I hope you can hear me. Thanks, Sheila, for that, and thanks for giving me the opportunity as well. It was great today to hear what CBIT-GSP has been doing and what they plan to do and how this has been supporting. So from our side, also really congratulations on all the work you've been doing. And it's been great to collaborate with you. And yeah, as Sheila mentioned, I think Patpa is also planning some activities for the year 2025, but we will reach out to you and let you know. And of course, here also the invite for this to be needs-based. We invite you to share all the needs that you have with us and let us know which topics are most pressing, most urgent, and then we will try our best to engage with those. So thank you very much once again, Sheila, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to join today and for collaborating with us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rebecca, for that. So I have seen another comment. Yes, Benti, as much as possible, like I mentioned, our focus will be mainly in-person meetings. And that's why I would want, if you have a priority need as a country, kindly reach out to me so that we can see if we have some resources to help reach out to your country for an in-person training, if possible. And that is our major focus. As you can see right from our trend, in 2023, we have been trying to focus as much as possible on in-country trainings because we have realized they are more effective in terms of reaching out to the technical expertise and also, like we mentioned, internet issues. So when people are in person, they are able to even work better. We appreciate that kind of guidance. Thank you. So maybe it's at this moment that I will share the Mentimeter to get your feedback on how we have performed for today. You can still go to www.menti.com. The code is 89168210. I'm going to put this in the chat so that it's easier for you to follow. Yes, so kindly log in and give us your feedback on what you think about our meeting today so that we can improve in future. I have put the link in the chat. The code is 89168210. I'll also put the code in the chat. Yeah, thank you, Freya, for putting the code in the chat. Yeah. So kindly give us your feedback. We are so grateful to have worked with you all this year. And of course, we wish you a Merry Christmas. Yes, thank you for joining. I can see Africa is well represented. I see West Africa, I see East Africa, I see the island, and I see the southern part of Africa. Thank you so much for joining. It's been a good year for us. We have improved, and I hope by end of the year, Africa will have submitted the BTR. I know we have not yet submitted now, and I know so many countries are working so hard. So I expect that at least by close of the year, we shall have had some submissions for our first BTR, so that we can show that commitment, that statement that we are reporting under the enhanced transparency commitment towards to achieve the goal of the Paris Agreement. Yeah, thank you so much. That you are. I'm happy that you are satisfied with this meeting. Very satisfied. Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate that we have been in this together, that you have really been able to guide. And now that I have seen that there are so many commitments in terms of mutual learning, sharing your expertise, we shall design some of those trainings together so that we can create more impact in spreading the knowledge for enhanced transparency reporting. How relevant was this workshop for your work? Yes, I'm happy to know that it was relevant for your work. Keep them coming. I see only 13 people who are 37. It would be nice at least we get over 20. Yes, so please let us know if you have any information regarding 2025 work plan, or if you are available for a bilateral discussion. We'll provide inputs. We appreciate the work plan and look forward to receiving to make inputs available for a bilateral discussion. Not at the moment, looks fine. Sierra Leone will contact CBIT. I'm available. Thank you. Kindly reach out to me even if you have not put your country. I'm always available to respond. Yeah, thank you. How can we improve this workshop in the future? We would appreciate annual meetings are conducted in person, not virtual. But in person, it would limit the numbers. So I think virtual somehow it's better. It gives an opportunity for everyone to participate. The format is good, especially country exchanges through conducting surveys. So far, so good. Thank you. We shall have several in-country, in-person meetings, but also inform us on the available opportunities for partnership in your country so that we can partner with them. Because I'm aware there are several organizations that have resources but might not have the capacity. On our side, we can be able to mobilize capacity that is required as a priority in your country. So kindly reach out to us so that we are able to help your country. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you have been able to join. And I'm happy. Kindly keep those comments and feedbacks coming. We are happy that you are able to join today's meeting. And thank you so much. Unless we have any other comments, you can unmute yourself and say bye to colleagues. I know you also take long to see them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Holiness.
Bye.